And
Excellent.
there we go. I'll let you do the intros. Go ahead.
All right, I'll do one, you can do the other. I like to share it around. In the red, playing as the Italians, one of the new civs on the map at the moment, we are seeing Nicov, a very star player, out from pretty much everywhere at the moment. If you don't know who he is, you've probably been living under a rock. In the green, his partner for today going to be TaToH playing as the melee. If you don't know who TaToH is, he's probably one of the best improvisational players on the game at the moment. Pretty much the champion of Mega Random out there. Really well known for his really weird strategies. Should be interesting to see that one go forward.
Yeah, TaToH has the most experience on the new expansions. He's been playing them for the longest time and picking them up way before the other experts really got interested or involved. So awesome to see him here. And as you said before, if you don't know who Nicov is, you've been living under a rock, because Nicov was the winner of the Escape Gaming Masters 2 last weekend, taking the title from Doubt in a grand final. Very, very good player, very good team. But their opponents are also incredibly strong. Their opponents today are going to be dogao. He's playing in the yellow as the Huns, representing the old civs here. And his teammates to the north of the map in the blue is going to be Fire, playing as the Vikings. So old versus new once again. And this is game 1 here in this series. It's round 1. It's a best of 3. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go down. Now, as we said before, we're a bit ahead of schedule because we're using single elimination best of 3. So instead of using best of 1, where we know we're going to get the games that we've put on the, that we've scheduled, best of 3, we could see 2 games or we could see 3 games. And so far, we've been just seeing 2 games. So as a result, we're a little ahead, and we're going to have to see how this series goes down. But I'm hoping we're going to see a 3-game set here, as first game being Migration. Could potentially give us a long one even. But let's see what happens. So, civ bonuses then. Let's talk about the new civs, and maybe you can talk about that, as I know you've got your stuff handy.
All right, we need to stop saying that because it's going to sound like I really just know my stuff and everyone's going to be really, really impressed. But the fact is I have it all written down on my wall at the moment, so don't think I'm better than I am. Basically, Italians straight away, something we saw out of the last game, pretty much on Migration as well. So basically, you've got the advancing cost. So basically, going to take that down by 15%. I've actually got it printed out as 10. So the 15% extra there as well, going to make a big difference overall. So going to be able to get up into the next stage a little bit earlier. Not going to need as much villages on food overall. So going to be in a really strong position there. The dock techs as well, costing 50% less. Going to put them in a really good place to actually get up into the tech advantage once they hit castle and really push that one home. So really good place with them there. With the melee, of course, they're going to have their advancing ages faster. So really going to be able to get up in a feudal nice and quick. Make a huge difference there. Basically, the fishing ships being a little bit cheaper as well, meaning they're going to be able to get a lot more of them out on the field as well. So going to be quite strong over that one. Plus, of course, as well, if you're with the melee, as far as it goes with as a civ, you're going to actually get 100% more dock line of sight, which is fantastic for scouting those fish, which is so all important to find straight away.
Yeah, if we actually take a look now at Nikov's dock, it's about to come up, and bear in mind his teammate is the melee, and that's going to give him the extra line of sight. So let's see how much he can see. Whoa! He can see a lot of stuff, which means he can go straight to the fish. He doesn't have to worry about, okay, let's imagine this fish wasn't here. He wouldn't have to go and scout with his fishing ship. He just sees where they are. It's a nice little team bonus. Small things like that makes a small difference, but it's all about those small differences that add up in the long run to potentially decide a game. Now, the Italians I wanted to go back to, because I wanted to bring up the fact that their fishing ships cost less 25 wood as well. So minus 25% wood on each fishing ship. That's also nice if you win the water and you want to fish boom. It's nice in the early game because wood is very scarce, and having that cheaper cost on the fishing ships means that you can actually ensure that you get them out in as quick a time possible, as fast as you can. Earlier they come out, the faster they're going to start bringing you food home, faster they can repay themselves, and the faster you can get to the feudal age and get ready to attack your opponent. So,
which is basically what it's all about. Basically, looking at something like this on a migration map, it's all about getting up to feudal age, getting in the early harass where you can. Because if you manage to get the numbers early on migration, it's really hard for your opponent to take them back. But really, all they can do is add in some docks and try and start out popping you, or start taking 100% just smart engagements, taking ships where they can, which does require a lot of time and effort. So you need to be either a really quick player to be able to accomplish this, or you actually sacrifice some of your eco.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got to win the water fast. And nowadays, like, the meta game on migration seems to have really shifted towards more feudal age warfare rather than just straight up fish boom and fast castle. And I think that's what we're going to see in this game as well from all of these players. But yeah, I mean, they've got to be careful because, as we know, there's not a lot of resources, well, food-wise, on these islands. We've got the berries here, which, as you can see by TaToH at the moment, are very saturated. It's like nine villagers gathering berries right here just to supplement his food income a little bit. And he's running very low on food. That's why it's super important to push your deer in towards the TC just to make the most of that natural occurring food on your island. Now, it looks like, let's have a quick look. We've got Fire on the berries quite heavily. We've got Nicov on the berries heavily. And we've got dogao. He was on the berries, but now he's transitioning over to wood, which means dogao's clicked up to the feudal age. And he is clicked up first. That means that dogao is going to have a small edge here going against TaToH on this south side. Bear in mind, though, that TaToH doesn't need to go up to the feudal age super quick because he's the melee. And the melee upgrades to the next stage 80% faster. That's amazing.
It's just such a huge bonus overall, and it's fantastic. Probably the only other real thing I have to say about the map, just looking at it there, the map is actually quite thin, looking at it. And by that I mean the center island. So on this one, we're actually going to see the ship control, just the water control, actually being a much bigger part of the game because you're not going to have such a big area to build up in. And the fact is as well, looking at the hills on it, you're not going to actually have a lot of area to build up on either.
Yeah, this center is actually really hilly. It's something we should keep in mind because it's very likely that players will be building out here and actually starting to colonize this, I guess, in the Castle Age. You're so right. It's so hilly. It's going to be very difficult for them to build town centers out here and such. So it's going to be hard to control this. And having that water control, allowing them to have range from the shore in towards the center of this island, it's going to allow them to like deny a lot of resource gathering and do a lot of damage from the shoreline. So I'm feeling like water on this kind of migration is much more valuable than the last migration we saw with Hart and Leary, where the island was much like more square. There was a lot more safe spots. Yeah, water here really going to be paramount as all the players here now hit feudal and start making their boats. dogao, I want to keep an eye on him as he's the Viking player. He's making galleys straight away.
Yeah, naturally from TaToH as well. We see those couple of fire galleys coming out. If you can be quick about it, can always jump in and get a few fishing ships there from them because they are quick to move out. They're quick to get on the field, and they're very, very quick to take down fishing ships. Just because the fishing ships can't really be microed away from them, they can't be out microing those arrows because basically you just can't out micro fire in this, and it just makes it so hard to keep those ships alive if you don't have the galley numbers there already.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you can kind of avoid galleys if you're quick, but once the fire galley is chasing you down, your fishing ship is basically toast. So dogao playing as the Huns here. Sorry, I thought dogao was playing as the Vikings. That's my bad. He's playing as the Huns. He is adding in the fire galleys here. It's the blue player, Fire, who's playing as the Vikings. He cannot make the fire galleys. He has to go straight into the galleys. That's going to be difficult to deal with Nikov's fire galleys at the top, but for now, engagement coming in at the south. It looks like dogao's going to have the edge, to be honest. We've even got a demolition raft coming in for dogao here. He's going to trade off that fire galley. Oh, wow. He's not.
Oh!
5 HP. And that's going to be cleaned up by the galley coming in now at the back, but okay, that happened.
There we go. I love seeing a little bit of demo raft. You know me, I'm all about the explosions all over the place, sudden game changes. So units like that are just pretty much on the top of my favorites list.
Yeah, I love demolition raft, but I have to say though, trading 1 for 1 or 1 demolition raft hitting 1 fire galley is not a good trade. Demolition rafts are pretty expensive, and yeah, 1 for 1, you work out a lot worse off if you trade 1 demolition raft into 1 fire. What were you laughing about? Was it the trade thing or something else?
No, just the trade in general, 1 for 1 with a demo raft like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really what you want to see, but at the same time, I do like explosions, so I'm okay with it. Really interesting, though, to see dogao utilizing them so much. We actually do have another one out in the field as well.
Yeah, we just saw one up in the north, Fire blowing up one of those ships from Nicov. To be honest, it looks to me like Nicov and TaToH are having a rough start here. Both dogao and Fire are getting ahead in ship count, and that's a little scary. Fire defending his docks quite well with these galleys, and I mean, obviously the Vikings do get the cheaper ships, which is nice. That allows Fire to go straight up to 4 docks. Nicov, on the other hand, he's only on 3 docks right now, so Fire has a higher amount of military production. In the south, dogao, just good micro so far, working out very well for him, and obviously saving all of that wood on those, or not having to build houses at the Huns, certainly adding up over the course of this game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably one of the biggest differences you're going to see there, because he's going to be able to get so many ships out. He's got so much more village time as well, because he's not worried about building houses with them, so he's always going to have that one extra villager on eco.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. It's one extra villager gathering wood also on top of that. TaToH right now, market is coming up, and he's got a couple of idols next to his TC. I'm surprised, but he's really focused on microing this army as best he can. He's in a bit of a tough spot here, because if he does lose these galleys, he'll lose a lot of fish. He's actually got 7 fishing ships out at the moment, which is quite a lot to potentially lose. He's also going to lose villagers on the wood lines. Villagers running away. Oh, one more shot and he would have died. Just escaping, yeah. Scary stuff for TaToH right now. He's not got very safe wood lines at all.
Yeah, dogao playing a really aggressive game here, doing the best he can, because of course, trying to take that Hun advantage early while he can, pushing in as quickly as he can, trying to get the damage done while he's at advantage, because really quickly the melee are going to come back and start pushing back, so he needs to get as much damage done as he can so he can at least try and take that advantage, especially if he gets up to critical mass, which we were talking about earlier, just the big death ball of galleys. Once you have that, there's not really too much your opponent can do against it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of difficult to come back on the water. That's like the big problem, and that's why having the center island available does give some kind of opportunity to pull that one back. So Fire, wow, coming around to the far corner of the map there. Didn't expect to see him all the way that far from home. Looking to maybe try and catch out TaToH a little bit by bringing them round and teaming up with his teammate to take out TaToH's fish. But TaToH keeping his fish alive for now, mostly, adding in some more fire galleys, and I think that's really the key. You've got to add a mix of fire galleys and regular galleys, and you can actually take a good fight. But still, I'm a little concerned. TaToH right now has 12 ships, dogao has 18, so there's quite a deficit for TaToH there.
A big difference there. And it looks like going to see some villagers killed off there on the wood line as well of TaToH. Not really what you want to see, but at the same time, they're delaying dogao's just galleys there a little bit, so he's not going to get sandwiched quite so early. But at the same time, TaToH just going to have to be really careful here that the units don't come in and they don't push against him too roughly.
Yeah, it's kind of scary as well, because look at this, he's had to put a watchtower up on these docks. That's not ideal. I mean, he doesn't know at this stage that it's going to be difficult to get a TC up in the middle, but yeah, TaToH right now, very outnumbered. dogao could very easily turn this one around and just actually take down one of these docks, potentially. Not only that, but dogao's going up to the Castle Age as well. What a player. He's so strong as he goes up to the Castle Age now. He's finished his berries. He's got like 4 farms. He's timed that Castle Age like perfectly, and it's amazing to me how he can still have so much eco at the same time as doing so many boats. But there you go, dogao's up to castle. Not only that, but his teammate Fire also up to the Castle Age as well. So both of these guys very quick to get to the Castle Age here, looking very strong so far in this first game. And with the Castle Age coming in, I'm genuinely worried for Nicov and TaToH here. I don't know if they're going to be able to do much to stop that.
Yeah, we've got Nicov clicking up to castle as well, so he's about over halfway there now, so he's going to be alright. Big problem is, though, TaToH's fallen behind now, and this is something you really don't want to have to go up against, because if you start falling behind on the water map, basically as soon as your opponent's got war galley, you can't engage that with normal galleys, just because the difference is too much. The tech difference, the extra HP damage it gives you, it's just too much of a loss on it, so you've got to be very, very careful with that one overall when you actually choose to engage.
Yeah, exactly, and I think TaToH falling behind now is a little scary for him and Nicov. He's not that far from castle. He'll click up soon, and at least he can get there faster due to his bonus, but even still, it's on Nicov now to win the fight in the north of the map. He really has to give it to Fire. He's a little faster than Fire up to the next stage, though. That means that Bodkin Arrow and War Galley coming in first. He's going to do some good damage there. And if you can hit Fire's economy and bring Fire down to the kind of same level as TaToH here, then it's all going to be even in the end of the day. But pressure is on for Nicov at the moment to actually do that damage and even things out a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And just looking at the units Fire's out in the field there, not going to be able to deal with just the army that Nicov has out right now. Being completely pushed off his wood line there as well. So going to actually get pushed to the opposite side. We're going to be careful there again because there is still that little inlet there where he can sit across and still continue sniping villagers. So he's going to have to be very careful that he doesn't actually lose all of his wood economy because it's all on the outsides of his base.
Yeah, and that's the case with migration, isn't it? Nicov here bringing over some more galleys to the south side of Fire's island, making sure that those villagers cannot gather wood. If they can't gather wood, well, he can't make boats. Without boats, he can't defend his wood. So it's a vicious cycle, and it's very, very quickly kind of snowballs out of control. You've got to be very, very careful. TaToH's also kind of having the same problem, but he still has access to wood for now, and he's trying to just keep his army out of the way until he reaches the castle age himself. Nicov having a great game, though, taking out Fire very effectively here, denying a lot of resource income, and this is exactly what we're saying.
I'm just watching Fire essentially play musical chairs with all these just lumber camps at the moment, just moving units across the map, trying to figure out where he can actually take wood from. It's actually pretty painful to be watching. Really harsh play there from Nicov. It's been fantastic, though, for his team. Being able to deny all that wood just means basically exactly what you've been saying. Fire just hasn't been able to get the boats out he needs. Hopefully, we'll see dogao go bail him out if he needs to, but the only problem with that is it's going to allow TaToH to get back up on his feet, which is something that he doesn't want to kind of get rid of all the work he has done there. The good news is Fire does have quite a few boats out, so he can at least try and push Nicov back.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to try his best. Now, TaToH kind of got a force to fight now. He's got careening coming in. He's not going to do bodkin arrow, but he's done the war galley upgrade, which means that he's got fire ship, and I think that's his focus now. Get the fire ships out. They are a little bit more effective in the expansions, and that's his line of thinking for the time being. So far, dogao hasn't done that much damage to TaToH's eco. He's only just taken out the fishing ships. He's only just moving over to kill some villagers on the wood line. And if TaToH can take an engagement here and clean up half of dogao's army, well, that's half of the battle won, because dogao does have his army split into two. So I feel like Nicov and TaToH still have a way back into this game. They are a little behind, but it's certainly not over. And yeah, Nicov's still feeling the heat here a little bit, as he does have the pressure to do the damage. But Nikov's got careening, Fire does not. That should give him the opportunity to push an advantage there.
Very, very interesting overall, actually. We're seeing some really different playstyles in this, and I'm really enjoying seeing them butt heads like this. It's very, very different to what we normally see, just because we're actually seeing a bit of a mix in of Fire ships. I'm actually seeing a couple of demo ships there as well at the moment, which is fantastic, mostly from Fire, but at the same time, if you can utilize those demo ships, I'm going to be a very, very happy man.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen next, actually, is Nikov's going to chase this army of Fire all the way back, and then he's going to join forces with TaToH and try and take out dogao over at TaToH's side of the map. That could, if they're able to take out some of dogao's ships together with this army, which he's bringing down now, I think they could totally turn this around back into their favor. Meanwhile, nobody has made a play for the center island yet. Normally, players will go there pretty early, but this time around, neither of them really making a move yet. They're really all invested into this water control. At the north of the map, we've got a fight between Fire and Nicov going down. I think Nikov's going to win that one as he brings the fire ships in, and Fire will retreat. This is starting to turn. It's still very close, but I think dogao and Fire, for the time being, still have the advantage.
Yeah, dogao's just got so many ships out in the field at the moment. He's just so hard to deal with. That Viking Hun bonus, still really starting to prove its worth at the moment. So in the last game, we did see a little bit of a domination by the newer civs, but in this one, it's seeming a lot more tight. The Huns really starting to come through. Basically, we are seeing a couple more demo ships out for dogao as well, so really interesting seeing them.
You're right there. You sound like you're dying a little bit.
Yeah, can you tell it's like 6 a.m.?
Well, we'll be hopefully getting Rez on soon to relieve you.
Save me, Rez.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, this is the thing. TaToH's having a hard time, but I'd say that Fire's had a harder time. TaToH at least still able to take wood quite safely, whilst Fire is really just pushed off of his lumber lines at the top and the bottom of his base. So, yeah, I mean, it's getting a little rough for Fire. At the same time, it is still rough for TaToH. Yeah, TaToH at the moment, trying to get a bigger mass of Fires up so he can actually engage dogao's army. But dogao maybe pulling a fast one here, coming around the top of the map and he is going to be looking to hit Nicov from the very exposed rear end here, as Nicov has, you know, a lot of gold, a bit of wood, and that could all be denied in just a few seconds as dogao comes in hot.
Fantastic. It's going to be really interesting. We can see as well, TaToH is actually making a play for the center island at the moment as well, moving 10 villages across by the looks of things. Can try and get some gold out of there, because looking back at his base at the moment, looking pretty saturated there. Some of the golds are on really low numbers as well, so he's going to be okay for a while, but at the same time, you do need a backup plan there, so you're going to have to be careful with that one. It looks like we can see, of course, dogao moving out across the map, Nicov getting pushed back to his TCs, losing some villages there, but the good news is it means TaToH can actually push across the map at the moment and try and get to dogao.
Yeah, this is a good, actually, it's interesting, because dogao, yeah, he's kind of given TaToH an opportunity to push out. Meanwhile, TaToH's made a landing in the center, and he's going to drop a castle right there. dogao, meanwhile, just, you know, teleporting villages around. It's wow. They're just fading. I know there was a bug with that, but I'd never seen them just kind of fade into nothing. That's quite funny. They just fade. Oh, now they're gone. Oh, there they are. There they are. Okay. All right, demolition ship's coming in. It's brilliant.
The concern there was legitimately amazing.
It's brilliant.
I loved the concern there for the disappearing villages.
I thought they were goners, but no, they made it to the other side safely. That was brilliant. Anyway, dogao with the demolition ships. Some damage, but very underwhelming, really. And now we've got TaToH pushing forward. I just want to clarify to people, it's only a recorded game bug. It doesn't bug out in the game when you're playing. It's just when you're watching it back. If that was how it was in game, it wouldn't be playable. But, you know, it is still playable. So it's all good. It's all good. TaToH here, look at this. He's still engaging this without bodkin arrow. So even though it looked like he had the advantage in that fight, the lack of +1 attack added up to him eventually losing it and being forced away. He is going to try and kill some villas before he does retreat away, though, and he will spy that monastery on the mainland. So, right now, we've got TaToH with a castle here to protect his villagers gathering wood. Maybe unnecessary to build a castle, but at least it will help him to secure that as time goes by. And we've got fire with a TC in the center as well. At the top of the map, Nicov still seems to be coming out on top versus Fire, but Fire's managed to keep quite a good amount of war galleys up and running, so it's not as decisive as perhaps dogao versus TaToH down here. And I think dogao's army got cleaned up at the back, right? I mean, I'm not seeing any ships from dogao on the right side of the map, so I'm assuming they were killed off while we were watching the teleporting villagers.
Yeah, definitely probably not the thing we should be focused on, but I enjoyed it, and I think that's all that really matters. So, looking across, dogao looks like he has been cleaned up a little bit, but at the same time, imagine you get quite a few ships out, and of course, the engagement he had with TaToH there up towards his base, really, really good engagement for him. However, Nicov at the moment starting to take the score lead. Looks like his little advantage there from the Italians starting to really push it into the big picture, really.
Yeah, I mean, he got a nice Castle Age start. I mean, really, the Castle Age for him, when it came in, was really strong because he was able to get those important upgrades very cheap from the docks, like the War Galley. That enabled him to just push his advantage very quickly and get the tech advantage that much sooner. So it was very nice. He saved a little bit of resources on that as well. And, yeah, I mean, right now he's really pushing hard against Fire. Oh, big demolition ships coming in. And Nicov hitting Imperial here with the fast fire ships. This is going to be devastating if these fast fires get to go to town. Fire with a defensive castle here. He's got to go all out to defend his docks at the moment. Otherwise, these fires will just tear through everything. With that castle in place, Fire will be able to push Nicov back a little bit. But kind of ironic that Fire is dying to fire ships, I feel.
Oh, always ironic. The good news is for him, though, dogao is actually up onto his Imperial Age as well, so just about to click up to there. So we are going to have at least one player from each team up into the Imperial, so going to help out there.
Yeah, once dogao hits Imp, of course, we're going to see the galleons coming in. Meanwhile, I mean, yeah, TaToH's had to evacuate his island a little bit. He can't gather wood safely while dogao has this army advantage. And TaToH's really just focused on moving towards the center. He's got another castle coming up. He's trying to lock it down. And that castle will be in range of these villages, I think, if he has bodkin arrow. I'm sure he should be able to hit those villas. So, yeah, TaToH just trying to lock down the center of the map right now so that when Fire and dogao eventually do commit to it, it's too late. It's already gone. It's covered in castles. They're also, of course, not neglecting the water. with Nicov here still looking pretty strong with those fast fires coming in.
Yeah, that castle just going to town on the stone villages there. Really good call on that one, just within range. Gonna just let one survive by the looks of things, so really pushing them off there. Really good plan by TaToH to get onto that island nice and quickly, especially dropping the castles as well. So by the time you were saying that they actually do start making the transition onto the island, it's going to be an uphill battle, not only literally, but against the castles as well.
Exactly, it is going to be an uphill battle because all of this is raised in the center of the map. I'm liking this. It looks like, if you look at the mini-map, TaToH and Nicov, well, TaToH, I guess, on his own, has so much control of this center island. It looks to me like TaToH's not even too worried about water at this stage. He's not really upgrading or making many more ships, I should say. He's just letting Nicov come over with the fast fires, whilst TaToH focuses on taking the center control. And he's doing that with the Karambit warriors, which are coming out right now, looking to raid a little bit. They're incredibly weak. He needs some upgrades, otherwise he's just going to end up throwing them away. But yeah, I mean, I think the plan really is to just hold the center, whilst Nicov takes the water. And so far, that plan is working quite well. The question is, will Nicov be able to win the water conclusively, or decisively, sorry, and will TaToH's center control mean all that much in this post-Imperial phase of the game?
Yeah, no, you've pretty much hit the nail on the head yet again. Having that center control is really good for your resource development later on in the game. Because what you're going to find, the gold piles will eventually start to run out. And from there, that's when it's going to come down to the center control. The gold you're going to get out of there is what's going to pretty much fuel the rest of the game from there. Basically, you can see trade on water. Of course, trade cogs are a thing. They are very uncommon to see, though. So if one team doesn't end up with that center island control, doesn't end up with any units on there, not access to that gold, there's no trash for water. So basically, all they can do is drop some castles, try and get some docks up, sell off a bunch of resources, and then try and get some galleys out. But really, at the end of the day, they need that center control to be able to push everything away.
Yeah, having the center in the late game is really a lot more valuable than the early game, that's for sure. And with TaToH being annoying, dropping more castles down here, that's going to deny Fire's economy, or deny his villagers gathering from this TC, or it's going to even bring the TC down. What we should see here is, I was watching for this, dogao needs a Trebuchet. TaToH, though, has just reached the Imperial Age, and with the Imperial Age upgrade in for TaToH, we should be able to see some Trebs coming out as well. So we're going to see a little Treb war coming in at the top of the map here. These Karambits from TaToH helping to support, but not really doing all that much. I mean, the key with the Karambits is to mass them as much as possible. For those of you who don't know, a Karambit warrior only takes half a population slot, so 2 Karambits equals 1 population at the top of the on the resources, and the idea is just get as many as you can, because they only have 30 health and they've only got like 1 armor, so they're weak as anything.
Weak but completely massable, I think, is probably the way to put it. So the idea is exactly that. You just build a hell of a lot of them so your opponent just can't deal with them.
Yeah, but the problem is TaToH doesn't have that many right now. Of course, Trebuchets are incredibly expensive, and he needs the Trebs in order to win this Trebuchet war over here. I'm wondering if he's going for the Trebuchet or the castle. It looks like he's aiming at the castle, actually. I don't know if that's the best choice. It might be better to try and get the Trebs, but TaToH knows best. He is going to go for the castle instead. And if he can bring one of these castles down, that's also going to be very nice. Problem is, I think, I can't say for sure, but it looks like dogao and Fire might be losing the water here. So for dogao and Fire, it's really important that they try and keep these castles up and that they push TaToH away. So far, so good with 1 castle going down, but they also lost 1 as well. So risky stuff right now, as these 5 Trebs are quite unprotected, actually.
Yeah, looking across as well, Nicov just has such a big fleet out in play at the moment. A huge amount of fast fires, plus the galleons as well. He's in a really good situation to pretty much deal with anything. The only person who can really oppose him at the moment would be dogao, and even then, he just doesn't have the galleons out to actually be able to deal with this one. TaToH's still got a couple of war galleys and fast fires out as well. Well, mostly fast fires now. So he's actually going to be hunting dogao down quite quickly as well. So I'd be pretty confident to say Nicov and TaToH might have taken the water back.
Yeah, I think Nicov and TaToH have this game at like advantage right now. I wouldn't say they've got the game, but they've definitely got the advantage. That is for sure. I'm feeling like TaToH and Nicov are going to be able to hold the center control a lot more easily at this stage. Although saying that, Fire is starting to build some ranges. In the south, we've got dogao building some stables here. So they are going to be looking to try and take this back with some land aggression. But with the water going the way of Nicov, we've already seen how this can play out in the Doubt and Viper versus Heart and Leary game. Once you've got water control, you do so much damage from the shoreline. We might start to see similar here.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was saying. So I was watching a demo ship explode and do a serious amount of damage to a couple of fast fires down in the bottom there. And like I was saying, I just like explosions, so I usually go quiet whenever I'm about to see one and try and absorb it to its fullest potential. But yeah, basically we're seeing those trebuchets out on the mainland now for dogao and fire. I got 5 of them in total there, so they actually will be in a really good position to push out against the castles. It's just a matter of making sure they can take them down without losing the trebuchets, because trebuchets extremely expensive gold units, and considering they don't have a big foothold on the actual center island at the moment, dogao's down to 1 gold pile at the moment with 360 gold left. Looking over at Fire as well, is he completely out of gold now as well? So basically, they have to take some kind of gold back at the moment. There's some over towards Nicov there that's kind of untaken, but they're going to have to push through all these castles in the center, so they're going to be in a real tough spot to take this one back now.
Yeah, without gold, it's going to be incredibly difficult to hold on to this. Fire with 500 gold in the bank, dogao with 400. They've got what they've got. They've got, what, 3, 4, 5 trebuchets. They've got a few crossbows. They've got dogao at the south of the map here with the stables. He's making some light cavalry because they don't cost anything on gold. And so, yeah, I mean, they have to take the center and get the gold. But it's, as you said earlier, an uphill battle. And it's going to be difficult to secure it. Now, for the time being, Nicov and TaToH have all of the gold in the center. We're going to see if that's going to change. But the problem is, these 5 trebs, they need some kind of protection. Otherwise, if they move too far forward, out of range of this castle, TaToH's just going to run in with the karambits and take them down. That's why we're seeing these small number of crossbows here from Fire. But it's still a little scary, because I don't think he's got enough. And I feel like TaToH could quite easily outmass them very quickly.
Yeah, the Karambit Warrior just is such an easy unit to mass in general, especially with their creation time. Basically, if it does come down to it, he should be able to get enough out to actually be able to push these crossbows back, and from there, of course, take out the trebuchets quite easily. So just gonna have to play it really carefully, because this is 1,000 gold just sitting in the middle of the map right now. If they lose this, they're not going to be able to rebuild it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They are a really bad position, actually, though, because Nicov has the water still. So all these buildings down here from dogao, they get taken out by Nikov's navy, which means taking the center is going to be even harder for the time being, because if you lose your military production buildings towards, well, from the water, then you're not going to be able to keep pumping stuff in and be able to take them out. Now, I wonder if TaToH here, I wonder if he's going to do like murder holes or something just to deal with these light cabs. It's a little bit of an overreaction, perhaps. It would be funny to see, but I just want to see him, sorry, making a lot of karambits. To be honest, I want to see like mass karambits out of TaToH. They cost 10 gold each. Problem is, TaToH doesn't have enough food, and for that, I feel like TaToH could be much better actually getting some fishing ships going again. They've won the water now. There's no threat on the water from dogao. There's no threat on the water from Nicov. Why not start fishing again? It could be worth it. Now, for the time being, TaToH, he's done chemistry. He's going to go for bombard cannons, and that's worked out really well. He's taken out 3 trebuchets from dogao. That is huge. And so, with that, and with his trebuchets on the hill here, he might even go as far as to take down all 5 of those trebs from dogao and Fire, and that is game-changing. That could even be game-winning for this team right now.
Oh, absolutely. It's just so much damage. There's only 1 left now as well. And that was a really good hit there too. So really, at the end of the day here, it's just looking like it's Nicov and TaToH's game. They've got water dominance now. They've got center island dominance. Those are really the only 2 things you need to completely limit your opponent.
Yeah, exactly. And now with Nicov adding more, like a castle in here as well, it's getting really rough for these guys. And if they can't take it back, I mean, this is the thing, then if they don't have any foothold on the center, they don't have anything on the water, it's basically game over right there. Having a quick look at the populations now, we can see Fire is down to 39 population. I can't believe that. He's got, okay, he's down to 39 population, and he has got, what's that, 15 military. So he's got like He's got no
Have you
villagers.
seen the top of his
Yeah,
base?
look at
where
that.
his lumber is?
Oh, it's disgusting. Fire losing so much on the water from Nicov. This is what we were talking about with the power of the galleons in the late game. Wow, at dogao as well, he must have been very low on population in the end there. Having nothing on the land in the center and basically having nothing on the water as well. Nicov and
Man,
TaToH,
that was...
well played.
I can't believe they managed to pull that one back. It was really looking like just dogao and Fire just had the game in the bag. Like, dogao's full massive ships there. The way Fire was playing, it was absolutely excellent. But TaToH's move there, actually getting onto the island in the center there, taking those castles out. Basically, he just cemented the win for this one, essentially, there with that early game decision.
Yeah, exactly. I think the water control in the early game really looked in favor of dogao and Fire. But then as soon as it sort of turned around, Nicov was able to play so well on the water that he actually took it for both him and TaToH, allowing TaToH to free up the resources to take the center control. And I think that was the real key there. Because TaToH, like, he didn't even upgrade. Oh, he upgraded in the end to fast fire, but he was in the Castle Age for ages, and he wasn't making hardly... Well, he was making hardly anything on the water. He was really just focused on building castles here and locking this down as best as he could. And with that, it's very, very difficult for dogao and Fire to actually stop them, I guess, or take it back in the late game. By the time they kind of decided, okay, we should probably take the center map control now, they had to divert so many resources into trebuchets and like trying to build up here that they completely neglected the water, and then Nicov just steamrolled them. So it ended up getting real rough in the late game, and it was well played by Nicov and TaToH there. So we've got Niltford's analysis to come in a few seconds' time. So, oh boy, incoming. And
well, what I might do then, because I believe Rez is here ready to go.
Okay.
What I might do, say my goodbyes
No,
now.
don't do it now. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. Do it after.
Don't do it?
No, do it after. Okay. We'll see you in a minute.
All right,
dropping
go.
here
Go.
on migration with the old civs, and it really seems with the expansions that Vikings and Huns aren't that strong anymore. Not having access at all to fire galleys, fast galleys for the Vikings, and no chance for fast-fired ships for Huns as well. Really did hurt them in all the water fights in the end. But I felt like the main decision was at this very phase here in this tournament. Oh, in this tournament, in this game, we had Fire and dogao. Look at that. They don't have any villagers working actually in the middle. Only now trying to get castles up. dogao, he's getting some berries at the side, but no other. He tried to get some wood, but never really got a foothold on the main map here. And that really did hurt them. TaToH on the other side, one castle up, two castles up. Soon to have the third castle up. Is going for full traps. But TaToH still in Castle Age, while Fire is in Imperial Age for quite some time. TaToH just reached Imperial Age. The thing is, Fire did not transition onto the middle island. He didn't send any villagers. He had Carroneering, so his transporters could have carried 10 villagers, and with all his villagers at his main island, he feared for their lives and built 2 defensive castles. If he just sends 30 villagers to the middle, builds his base over here, gets access to a lot of wood, a lot of gold, puts down those 2 castles in the middle, enters earlier Imperial Age timing, he could have gotten all the traps out. And then could have won the trap war against TaToH. At least that's what I believe. dogao not being on the middle island, he wanted to go for more water, but lost against the fast fires in the end. But I really think Fire, if he would have taken a bigger approach in the middle, they could have had a better chance of taking it here. I think that was the main key, and I will show you my 2 highlights of this game as well. First of all, this great engagement here by Nicov. He got a full double of dogao and Fire, both surrounding him, trying to absolutely surround on both sides, south and north. But great engagement by Nicov, and fighting against dogao, killing him, and trying to take another engagement, and even forcing Fire to retreat afterwards. incredible how he did that. And the other thing is, look at that micro bombard cannon here for TaToH. One bombard cannon against 5 traps, all shooting down. Now the focus on the bombard cannon, 1 trap down, 2nd trap down, and 3rd trap going down as well. And you see so much dots at the minimap, and yeah, that means TaToH was focusing on so much different stuff as well, and still managed to kill that. And that was a small moment where dogao+F1Re could have pushed, but beautifully shut down. And yeah, therefore they bought so much time that they had full control over the main island. Nicov focusing on water with fast fire ships. TaToH focusing on the middle. Traps, lot of castles, fast uptimes, and even some karambits. Interesting game number 1 for me. How it was played out and where we saw the action. One of the best games we have seen all of Escape AoE series so far. I extremely enjoyed this game and looking forward to the next games. Nicov and TaToH going against dogao+F1Re. Game number 2 coming your way.